Hey, what's up, everybody? You are here with me, Sporadiclese, on the RedVsRed podcast. We've got a few things to talk about today, but first, I want to say thank you to everyone that has hit that follow button already. We've got 70 of you guys up in this corner, I believe, sure enough. So, thank you for everyone that has done that. We would love to see more of you guys engage with us. So, if you like what you see, whether it be myself or the Saffron Man or both of us, definitely make sure to hit that follow button and we will keep you up to date with all of the news and rumors around Manchester United. And so, I think we'll go ahead and start looking at the highlights today. First thing that I'm going to end up talking about is mounting the mountain that Mason Mount has to climb. And after that, I will go into the kind of the transfer rumors that we're seeing right now. It being transfer deadline day, it's a big day. And then finally, we'll look forward to Liverpool. But first things first, we do have Mason Mount injured yet again. Looks like he's going to be out for 4 to 5 weeks this time with a hamstring injury. Last season, he missed, I think it's something to the effect of 27 games for Manchester United. You know, he's not entirely, unfamiliar with injuries. He had a few at Chelsea, but nothing too serious. Nothing like the 21 game setback that he'd had last season for us. And so to see him come in and get subbed off at halftime last weekend against Brighton, a little bit of a concern there, and it shows that that concern was in fact warranted. So hamstring injury, I mean, it's a tough blow for a guy that cost Manchester United a pretty penny, and that we kind of had high expectations for. And so far, we just haven't been able to see those come to fruition. I have liked what I see so far this season and in the preseason whenever he was coming on and pressing for us and trying to win the ball back. I haven't seen too much of his attacking capabilities yet. I think there will be more of that to see whenever he's healthy and involved in the team regularly. But right now, it looks like we're going to have to wait a few more weeks to hopefully see him integrated back into the squad. So best of luck to him on recovery, and hopefully we will see him soon. On the next front, we do have the transfers. So a lot of things happening, and a lot of things unfortunately not happening yet. It being transfer deadline day, this is kind of the day that everything needs to fall into place. And so the biggest thing that I think that we are looking for and been waiting for is the confirmation of Manuel Ugarte from PSG. He's had the medical. Still no news with only a few hours left here, and so it's kind of up in the air as to what's going to happen here. It's hard for me to envision that transfer not going through, even if he does have some type of injury setback. It wouldn't be the first time that we've signed somebody with an injury setback. If you'll recall, Rasmus Højlund being out for multiple games at the start of last season with an injury that he had that we found during the medical. And so I don't think it's entirely unreasonable to think that we can still see Ugarte come through in this transfer window on loan with the obligation to buy next transfer window, or next summer, I should say. So I'm really hoping that deal gets pushed through. If not, then I mean, we're kind of missing our priority position, that we wanted this transfer window. So hopefully we can get some good news here on that front and kind of get that wrapped up. The other one that we've also kind of been waiting for and waiting to see happen is for Jadon Sancho to go out, whether it be on loan with an obligation to buy or just for a straight transfer. I think that if he's going to go, then it needs to be some type of transfer where he is ultimately not going to be a Manchester United player at the start of next season. We can't afford to keep beating around the bush with his scenario. I think that he needs clarification on where he stands and where we stand on him. And so, it seems like maybe his potential having hashed out all of the differences with Erik ten Hag might not have been as real as we thought that it might have been, or at least how they would have played it off to be. I think a lot of us kind of felt like that was a half-hearted, like, oh, okay, yeah, let's let bygones be bygones. But maybe that's not the case. And so I think right now it's looking like potentially Chelsea. They're looking for Jadon Sancho's signature. We've got to offload his wages, and that'll free up some room down the line for us. And so hopefully we'll see what's going on there, and we'll have a little bit of resolution on that in the coming hours. We also have confirmed Sekou Kone, I believe. And so he is a young 18-year-old player from Mali, and he really impressed at the, I believe it was the U18 or U19 World Cup against Argentina this year. And so definitely, I think he's going to be one for the future. We may or may not see him starting. I mean, I guess at this point, he could work with the academy players, and he might be able to squeeze his way into the senior team's lineup as a rotation player. So hopefully, really good things there. I'm looking forward to seeing how he develops in the coming season or two, and should be a very good option for us to have. It looks like we're really stressing that for the future under this new Ineos leadership with all of our signings, as well as Chido Obi Martin from Arsenal. So that's another one that we I believe have completed this transfer window. So looking forward to that as well. And so you definitely notice the recurring theme. It's 25 and under, uh, at least for the most part. It looks to me like Ineos are very much making that move to make sure that even if it doesn't happen this season or next season, that we will be challenging for serious silverware in the future, and honestly, probably the fairly near future. A lot of these guys are going to be in their early 20s, and some of them, such as Kobe Mainu, are getting regular play time right now. Amad Diallo, Alejandro Garnacho, all of them looking to build towards the future. So very much looking forward to seeing all of that. And so hopefully we can finish up this transfer window with everything that we want. And that's the Ugarte deal finalized, first and foremost. Second of all, Jadon Sancho, figure out his future. And after that, anything else is a plus. I don't think that there's really a whole lot else going on that might be on the table. I think Scott McTominay, I don't know that he's necessarily been unveiled, but it's looking like they're trying to finish up the paperwork for him to go to Napoli. So very much excited to kind of see how this whole revamp ends up playing out. So it's going to take more than a transfer window or two in order for us to really become the team that I think Ineos has the vision of us being. But it will come. It will most certainly come. So looking forward to that. And speaking of things to look forward to, we have a game this weekend. It's one of our favorite matchups. And we will be playing Liverpool this weekend. We've got Liverpool at Old Trafford. And so I just want to talk a little bit about what my expectations are going to be for that game. And as always, we are going to start with the lineup. Over here to my this side, I do have the lineup here that I'm expecting. There is going to be at least one change in that. We have been starting Mount the first couple of games this season. That is obviously not going to happen as he is injured. So I think there's really only one option there that really makes sense, and that's for Joshua Zirkzee to get his first start. We put Bruno Fernandes back into his most comfortable and most productive position, that being center attacking mid. He's still going to have his opportunity to have his forays forward, as Joshua Zirkzee likes to drop into the midfield and facilitate play from there, and kind of move those defenders around. So I'm very much looking forward to, please, Erik ten Hag, please give Joshua Zirkzee his first start. I think that he's shown that he more than deserves it. Yeah, we had a little bit of confusion and a fiasco with that offsides last game out, but I never going to fault a striker for trying to get in and get on the end of a cross. So um, I think he'll bounce back well from that unfortunate circumstance last week, and he'll be key for us to have a good game here against Liverpool this time out. Uh, Onana, again, you're never going to see anybody on that team sheet in my lineups unless Onana is injured in terms of EPL. You're just not going to see him not starting. So looking forward to seeing that. Um, on left back, on the left side of defense, we've got Diogo Dalot. I think that whenever we played Liverpool in preseason, it was Harry Amos, and I think he did a really good job of shutting down Mohamed Salah. And so I think it's going to be a little bit more of a task for Diogo Dalot to do so. I think that he definitely is more attacking minded. I know that Amos is as well, but I mean the effect to which Amos was able to shut him down was impressive. So going to be definitely looking at that matchup. I think that's going to be a very key and important matchup this time around. Is going to be Diogo Dalot and Mohamed Salah. Obviously, we're going to have to rely on his partner there at center back to help him out a little bit at times, and that is Lisandro Martinez. He's just so feisty. He's such a good ball winner. He's kind of become our mainstay in defense whenever he's not injured, and so we're going to need a big game from him too. He's going to have a lot of ground to cover, and I think he's good for it. So looking for good things from him, as well as his new center back pairing with his first start of the season, Matthijs de Ligt. I think that we've got to start him. I think that Harry Maguire, he's done well for us while we're waiting to kind of introduce de Ligt into the team, and getting him into the starting 11, I think is only the most natural progression here. So sorry, Harry, but going to have to take you out here for this one. I think de Ligt is going to be one of those that we're going to have in there in order to have a successful game this weekend against Liverpool. I think he brings a lot of dominance in the air. I think that he's powerful, and I think he's going to have a lot of attributes that are going to complement those of Lisandro Martinez. Off to the right, we have Mazraoui again at right back. I think that this is, again, just one of those that makes sense. If Diogo Dalot has to play on the left, it's going to be Mazraoui on the right. That's just going to be, our two wing back options that we've got for, at least another month or two. And so you'll see them in the lineup consistently. There's not going to be a whole lot of rotation unless we're playing against some of the teams in the Premier League that don't quite have the same quality as a Liverpool or a Manchester City, heck, even a Brighton. Obviously, we didn't start Harry Amos against Brighton, and I think that was the right call. But he will find minutes this season. Make no mistake about it. Harry Amos will find some minutes. But in the meantime, we're looking at Diogo Dalot, Mazraoui. This is probably going to be a pretty familiar backline for us this season. I think this is going to be kind of the go-to until we get some of our true left backs back from injury. So, talking about seeing things, pretty consistently, we've got the same midfield pairing of Kobbie Mainoo as well as Casemiro. I think that this still is, until Ugarte comes in, assuming that he does, which again I think that he will. This is going to be the pairing. Unfortunately, last weekend we saw goals coming from both the striker and the center attacking mid of Brighton, and so really that center of midfield is definitely a concern for us, and being able to support our defenders. Casemiro has kind of been making his mark, but not in a good way the last couple games. So this is going to be a tough one. I think that he's going to potentially struggle, and so we're really going to need some standout performances from the likes of de Ligt and Lisandro Martinez, because their cover's probably not going to be that great. We've seen many high-profile mistakes from Casemiro here recently, He kind of left the back post wide open for Brighton's second goal last weekend. So I'm really hoping that we can figure something out with him, and that he can either come good, or that we're going to have another option to put into that center midfield to pair with Kobe Mainu here in the near future. I do think, moving on to attack, that Rashford is still going to get the start ahead of Alejandro Garnacho. I think that this still makes sense, and you'll have to hear me out here. This is the type of game that Marcus Rashford, as a homegrown Manchester United player, should be sleeping, and breathing for. And he's going to have a good game. He's going to have to help provide a little bit of cover for Diogo Dalot. I think that he doesn't always, but whenever he does, such as the FA Cup final in at the end of last season, we've seen that he can do a lot in terms of covering ground and putting on pressure, and really causing the opposition problems. And so this is going to have to be one of those games where either he just on his own kicks it into gear, or Bruno Fernandes gets on him and says, look, you can't afford to perform this way. We need you to be at your best. And so I think Rashford still kind of has the nod over Alejandro Garnacho. And, this being the game that it is, if he's not performing in the first half, then I fully expect there to be a change either at halftime or sometime early on into the second half. And so he's going to have to step up his game, or he's got Alejandro Garnacho biting at his heels, waiting. He's ready for the opportunities. We've seen a lot of great things coming from Garnacho whenever he's had his minutes off the bench this season. And so with the quality that he has, that Rashford has behind him, he's going to have to kick it up. And this is definitely one of those games where he can step up and make an impact. Speaking of impact, Bruno Fernandes, always, one of our big impact players. I think this game is going to be no different. If he's not, completely shut down by their defensive midfield, which I just don't see happening, he's going to have a good game. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how he operates with his first full game with our striker Joshua Zirkzee, that I'm expecting to start. Their relationship is going to be a key relationship, I think, going forward for this season. Them both, obviously being right up front and in the thick of things on the offense. So I'm very, very much excited to see how those two work together in terms of Joshua Zirkzee dropping in, and Bruno Fernandes getting into that space in behind and playing into the space in behind with our wingers crashing in. And so on the other wing, we've also got Amad Diallo. That right wing, I would say, over Antony, is his to lose. He's shown that he's got great quality and that he can perform at this level. He obviously scored, the winner that took us through into, the latter stages of the FA Cup, I believe it was last season. Kind of kept our hopes alive for that, and ultimately ended up, with us getting a trophy. So, I think he needs a few more games. This season is going to be a breakout season for him, but I think he's still kind of lacking a little bit of a sense of, where the defenders are, what style of play that they're playing. I think that he's used to players, or defenses having to, drop back a little bit further and giving him more space, whereas Brighton was not giving him that last game. So we saw him offsides a couple of times. I think that Liverpool is going to play, a pretty high press. There's not going to be a lot of room in between those lines. And so Diallo is really going to have to check his runs to make sure that we're getting the most out of him. So this should be a pretty telling game to kind of see how far along in his development he is. And, let's hope that he can just come away with another goal like he did on his last time out against them. Really looking forward to seeing him and his future that he's got at Manchester United. So all that being said, I do have a prediction for this game. and we're going to hope that it plays out this way. I think that it is going to be a very back and forth game. There's going to be a whole lot of offense being played, and we're going to have to do a bit of attacking ourselves to be able to try and match the press and the offense that Liverpool's going to bring to us. But it should be a fun match to watch, and I'm thinking that we are going to come away with this victory. We're going to bounce back against Brighton. We've got a few players that are going to be raring and ready to go for this to make amends for last week. Those being Alejandro Garnacho, who again I think is going to come off the bench. I think he's going to do so to great effect. He'll probably bag himself a goal. I'm looking for Joshua Zirkzee to facilitate link-up play. He's going to get either a goal or an assist, I'm thinking. And ultimately, we're going to win this game 3-1. I think that's what I'm going to call. It's going to be an entertaining match no matter what, but this is one that we need to win. I think I picked 9 points out of the first 5 games is kind of like my expected return on investment, and we've already dropped 3 of those. So this is a must win, and I think this can really be a catalyst for good things for this season. So we're going to have to come out and perform, and as long as we do, I think that we're going to be sitting quite well at the end of December, and so looking forward to it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Who would you pick for your lineup for Liverpool this weekend? Would you start Joshua Zirkzee? Is Ugarte going to come in? What's going on? Let us know. Let us know your thoughts down below in the comments. Definitely hit that follow. We're trying to get that number up to 100 if we can. And then we'll start our Discord server so we can really engage with people a bit more. And so, again, let us know what you think. This is my time. It's been Sporadiclese here on RedVsRed podcast, your new favorite Manchester United podcast. And this is me signing off and hoping for a good weekend and good news here at the end of the transfer window. Peace.